Hello, Flight 247. This is Sean, and we are jumping into another 20-minute hop here. Today we are going to fly from Harbor Springs, Michigan, down to Gaylord Regional Airport, Michigan. And this is going to be a pretty fast flight. I'm actually under the gun right now, which we don't actually want to ever do if we're jumping in an airplane, is we don't want to be constrained by real life situation where we got to get there. Like, there's nothing too critical that we need to jump in an airplane and go do it, unless we're flying in medevac or even at the airlines. Yeah, we're flying a schedule and we want to get people to the destination on time, but there is a problem. We don't want to intensify things by adding undue pressure. But it is Sunday and I've got to get to church. So without further ado, we're going to kick things off doing a little bit of a different style, because 20-minute hop, I have not done this in like 3 years, and I just want to get back into this. I've set a goal of being in Alaska by June 19th, the summer solstice. So if we can do that, that will be phenomenal. Okay, it is April 28th today, so we've got a lot of work to do to get up to Alaska by June 19th, but I think we can do it. We made our objective to Oshkosh a few years ago to get there for SimVenture 2020, and I will share a link to that show if you'd like to check that out. It was a great deal of fun spending a few days at virtual Oshkosh and flying around northeastern Wisconsin. Never imagined that I actually would be living in Oshkosh one day. So I am so excited. I just love doing this. It is so fun, and let's get into it. All right, before engines start, I'm holding the brakes. I'm going to just power down battery real quick here so that we don't kill our systems. All right, seats, rudders adjust, seat belts and shoulder harness fastened, parking brake set. Left side circuit breakers, if we were in the airplane, we would check those, make sure that they're all in. There's left side circuit breakers there. Alternate static air source right over here, we check that, make sure that we saw that functioning. Sub panel switches, we got those right there too as well. Landing gear handle is down, and we should have 3 greens once we power up. Throttle is closed, propeller is high RPM, mixture going to full rich, cowl flaps open. There we go. I just reset my switches, so I'm just getting used to that. All right, mixture to full rich, and we're there. Flaps are up. Avionics circuit breaker in. Double check flaps. ELT switch to arm. Functional. All right, battery coming on. Alternator 1 and 2 coming on. PFD is up with reversionary mode. Reversionary mode means that we see our engine instruments right there in the paired right to the side. All right, I'm gonna bump in here just to get a better view. Buses are tied. Fuel quantity is reporting low, so we'll run over to the fuel pump, and actually we can just call the fuel truck right now. Definitely would have been something when I had been doing a pre-flight inspection. I would have checked my tanks to say, oh yeah, I don't have enough fuel necessarily. And actually what I'm going to do is just kind of cheat a little bit. Instead of waiting for the fuel truck to come, I'm going to just bump up our fuel. Actually you're pretty good there with 32 gallons on board. But I'm going to add it. I'm going to just bump her to 50 aside, or 20 aside. All right, so we're good there. And oil pressure's low because we don't have our engine running yet, and bus is tied. And the fuel truck is here. Let's just have a look at him real quick. Hello, fuel truck. Thank you for that. Fuel remaining set. Fuel with full fuel. Partial fuel. Fuel selector valve. To off, right, and left. We're on the left tank right now. Let's just verify. A little bit hard to see it. Left tank. All right, auxiliary fuel pump. All right, before engine start checklist complete. Starting engine checklist with battery. Throttle to full open. Propeller to high, mixture full rich. Going to fuel pump to high and looking for fuel flow. We got 2.8. Throttle coming to closed. And then a 1/2 inch. Magnetos to start. Clear prop. Third time's a charm. Clear prop. There we go. Go into my logbook and note the start time. I'll just use that for start as timeout. Alright, throttle power set 1000 to 1200, and we log start time. I'm also going to jot that down. It is 9:01. Before taxi checklist, throttle to 1200, oil temperature in the green. Avionics Master, I'm going to hold off on that because I like to have my reversionary mode when I am in the ground. So this aircraft, I can't bring reversionary mode up, so I'm going to wait till airborne to power up avionics. Air conditioner not required. Auto flight pre-flight test. Not planning to use the autopilot since we're going to just fly 1,000 foot over there. MFD is good. PFD, AHARS, alternator 1 and 2. Alternator 1 in op. Alternator 2 in op. Bus 1 and 2 voltage in the green. And bus 1 and bus 2 are in the green. Alerts and messages check. Bus is tied. Illuminated. Aircraft door is closed. Lights. Let's get our beacon on. Beacon is on. Nav lights. Turn the floodlight off. Can turn our fuel pump off. And I know our avionics is working. Standby altimeter. Let's get the frequency. Let's get ASOS going here. 119er9er25. Of course, we might hear the crappy Microsoft Flight Simulator comm, so I'm going to just test to see if we do hear something there. All right, no big deal there. So I do know that it's 1,500 foot broken, which puts the clouds at 2,200 feet. So we're going to just fly it on down to Gaylord. And that is just a very quick flight. It's about 8-minute jump down there. That is a 28. We got a 28-mile flight. So we're gonna just head on down there. Not really worrying about it. I checked the weather. We got winds out of the west, so we'll depart 28. Gaylord's runway 27, so we'll just arrive into 27, and that should be good. All right, back into the checklist. Standby altimeter, we want to make sure that we're set there. All right, that jives. 3007, just check our field elevation here at Harbor Springs, 686. We are in the zone. All right, checklist, back to checklist. We're good there, and taxi light coming on. All right, and brakes release and do a brake check. And our parking brake's definitely working. Okay, brake on the left, brake on the right, and both. Okay, brakes are good. Taxi lights on, and we're taxiing to 28. Harbor Springs traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango, leaving the ramp, taxi runway 28 for departure to the south, Harbor Springs. Got some pretty crazy taxiway lights right on the taxiway light right on the center line. Just gonna do a little turn in here so we can do an engine run up real fast. Harbor Springs traffic, Bonanza, not 379 Papa Tango, holding short runway 28 Harbor Springs. All right, before taxi checklist
approaching
complete,
runway
before
28.
takeoff checklist, for run up, taxi light off. Parking brake, holding the brake, seatbelt, shoulder harness secure, engine instruments are in the green. Flight instruments checked, throttle 1700. And we will exercise the prop here in a moment. All right. There's one. There's two. And three, just looking for a 300 RPM drop. That was a little bit more than 300. All right, and we're going to check the mags, make sure that we are good. On the left, on the right, back to both. Alternator 2 and bus tie. Still bus is tied. Throttle to 2000. Standby attitude indicator is erect. Standby battery, don't need to check it. Standby power LED. Flag electric elevator trim, check. That is working. We want to be at 3 up. Trim is set. Aileron neutral. Elevator 3 nose up. Flaps set for takeoff. Verify blue light. Need 1 up. Alright, gotta correct that flap switch there. There we go. Alright, bring it back to 1,000. Flight controls, free and correct. Doors and windows secure. Cabin door lock indicator is closed. Fuel selector valve, we'll just look at that real quick. There's the door lock. That says open, but we have a firm fixed door, so we're good there. It would say closed in the airplane. Fuel pump off. Alerts and message considered. We only have the buses tied. PFD attitude and heading is normal. GPS position is valid. Standby attitude indicator. Parking brake release. Before takeoff, checklist complete. Before takeoff, final items. Pitot heat as required. All lights on. We got nav and landing. Taxi light coming on. Air conditioning not required. Flaps double check. Set. Transponder is altitude and VFR. Rotation speed will be 73 and we will climb out at best rate of 100. If I have an engine failure on the runway, I will immediately hit the brakes and stop the aircraft. If I have an engine failure immediately after rotation, if I have enough available runway, I will just set the airplane back down and immediately hit the brakes, and we'll stop on the runway. If I have an engine failure below 1,000 feet AGL, which would be 1,700 MSL, I'm going to pitch down for my best glide of 110 and look 20 degrees left or right of the airport for a good place to set it down. We do have water right off the end of runway 28, so I will be looking for actually a 20-degree window to the right, maybe setting it down on the shoreline. If we get above 1,700 feet MSL, I will do a 180-degree return, pitching down for 110 to get the aircraft back into the airport environment, or to set down and hopefully setting down on the runway. Then we'll basically take immediate action items to secure the aircraft for a forced landing or for an emergency landing. All right, that is the takeoff brief. And before takeoff, checklist final items is complete. All right, taking the runway. Harbor Springs, traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango, taking runway 28 for departure to the south, Harbor Springs.
Approaching runway 28. Entered runway 28, 4,100 feet remaining.
Vinyl's clear, runway environment's clear. Come on. Seems like the parking brake got tapped. That's weird. All right. Come on. There we go. All right, on the go. Airspeed's alive, engine instruments in the green. Looking for 73. And rotate. And pitch for 100. Bring our power back and prop back. Landing gear coming up and flaps coming up. Harbor Springs traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango left crosswind, departing the pattern to the south, Harbor Springs. So you can't see it, but I am using a add-on called GTN 750, and if you have not tried this thing, you have got to go download it from FlightSimTO. This thing, or just do a search for it. I can't remember if it's on FlightSimTO or not, but oh my gosh, this thing, I will actually put a link in the show description below. It is so phenomenal. It is just like having a Garmin GTN 750 in your aircraft. And if you purchase it, because it's free for some of the features, but if you actually purchase it, then you actually get a GTN 750 autopilot as well. I wanted it because I was hoping I could do some editing to make the Dark Star have a autopilot, but unfortunately Azobo, Microsoft encrypted that file. You can't modify the Dark Star to have an autopilot, which is so stinking ridiculous to me. Please, Azobo, please make it so we can have an autopilot in the Dark Star. There's no sense in why we wouldn't have an autopilot. All right, enough of a rant there. All right, after takeoff checklist, power set, throttle full forward. We're at our cruising altitude, so power is set. Propeller is set. Mixture is set. Cowl flaps, we can keep them open. Airspeed set. Engine temperatures. Oh, the gear's still down. Alright, I'm going to just hit the G key. There we go. I'm using my GoFlight modules, and so the landing gear has look like a little bit of a need to be reset there. So we can bring the power back a little bit, and then I will get my avionics going here. There we go. All right. And engine instruments in the green. Cruise flight checklist, cowl flaps set, and we'll just keep that. Well, let's close them. What the heck? It's in the checklist. Trying to remember which switches my cowl flaps. There we go. All right. Cowl flaps set, power set, auxiliary fuel pump off, mixture is fine, and 15-minute timer. All right, I'm going to activate my autopilot, or my co-pilot here.
Altimeters set. Cowl flaps confirmed closed. Power as required. Mixture as required. Engine temperatures monitor. Flaps as required. Windshield defroster as required. 15-minute timer check. Checklist complete. Destination ASOS is 118.375.
118.375. And let's get the, what is the CTAF? CTAF is 122.8. We're set there. So I would say that we have the airport. That's not our airport, all right. I'm just getting back on my course here. We are 5 minutes out. Traffic pattern altitude is 2328. Climb up here. We're at 2000, get 2328. Quite a few little airports in the area, so I'm just going to make a pattern or a traffic call. Boyne Mountain traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango is 7 miles to the northeast at 2,700. Transitioning the airspace southbound to the southeast, landing Gaylord. Power back a little bit and just get back down to our traffic pattern altitude. I'm about 500 feet above. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango is 10 miles to the north. We'll enter the downwind for runway 27, Gaylord. Right, 2328 again is the traffic pattern. I'm at 2,500 right now, so we'll get down to that altitude. Bring the power back a little bit more because we're screaming. Altimeter set, cowl flaps are closed, power set, mixtures required, engine temperatures monitor, flaps as required, windshield defroster not required, before landing checklist. Check and fastened.
Seat belts and shoulder harnesses
Upright.
fastened. Seat backs.
All
Position
right,
for
we're gonna
landing.
switch to
Fuel
the
selector
right
valve.
tank.
Select fuller tank. Cowl.
Full
Cowl
ridge.
flaps, as required. Mixture, full ridge. Landing gear, down and checked. Landing lights, as required. Propeller, high RPM.
And
Checklist
before landing,
complete.
checklist complete. Landing light on. We'll drop the gear here. Check airspeed. We're in the white arc. Gear coming down. And flaps to approach. And we got red and we've got green. We'll stand by for propeller on final. Normal landing checklist. Gears down, 3 green. Full, all right,
Check
on
gear,
landing.
3 green. Check prop, full forward. Flaps, down. Airspeed, establish normal approach speed.
Checklist complete.
Yaw damp, off. Checklist complete.
Gaylord traffic's Bonanza 379 Papa Tango, 5 miles to the northwest. 2,200 will enter the downwind on a 45 for left traffic, runway 27, Gaylord. There is the airport. Just be on the lookout for any traffic. Runway's clear. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango is on a left crosswind for runway 27, Gaylord. So since we've got the crosswind going here, I'm going to just start a turn for the downwind and we won't even enter on the 45 now. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango, left downwind, runway 27, full stop, Gaylord. All right, we'll be sterile cockpit now that we're in the airport environment. Only talking about flight critical items here. Bringing the power back a little bit. I'll go full forward on the prop. And I'm gonna go to reversionary mode. getting back to a little bit below the traffic pattern altitude. Getting back to 2,328. All right, and we're going to have a 500-foot call out at 1828, 200 foot at 928, 100 at 828, and we'll be on the ground at 728. All right, beam the numbers, bring the power back, go to full flaps, verify. We got red, blue, and 3 greens. Checking the base there. Final looks good. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango, left base, runway 27, full stop, Gaylord. Again, checking final. Runway environment's clear. Final looks clear. A little bit of elevator trimming for pitch up. Slight stutter as things are catching up here with our scenery. Stand by. All right, there we go. Again, runway environment is clear and final is clear. All right, turn and final, 500 foot.
500.
Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 9 Papa Tango, final, runway 27, Gaylord.
Short final runway 27.
On airspeed, a little bit low, not a problem. 100, 50, 40 coming off the power, 30, 20, 10. Touch. Little rudder there to correct for that drift.
Approaching runway 18.
We're good there.
Entered runway 18. 3,400 feet remaining.
And we will just do a little loop here and we'll exit on runway 36. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 9 Papa Tango, back taxi runway 27 to exit runway 36 to the ramp. Gaylord.
Approaching runway 18.
Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 379 Papa Tango on runway 36. Gaylord. Gaylord traffic, Bonanza 9 Papa Tango, clear the active, Gaylord. All right, we are clear of the active. I'm gonna stop here real quick. Lights coming off. Strobe's coming off. And flaps coming up. Lean the throttle or lean mixture. Cowl flaps open. And just clean it up here after landing checklist. Cowl flaps open, flaps up, landing taxi strobe lights off, trim tabs reset, buses illuminated, and downtime note. Taxi light and to the ramp. Even though this is 20-minute hop, it always takes more time than what we expect it will to complete the flight. And checklists are critical, and so we don't skip those things. Personally, my take, when I'm flying Microsoft Flight Simulator, you can see that I am taking it very seriously. I'm actually flying this airplane just as I would in real life. I'm using the checklist, I'm using ForeFlight, I'm doing all these things because you practice how you play. And I take this really seriously, and I get a lot of fun out of flying it so professionally as well. Here's our ramp agent, our line service guys bringing us into a parking spot. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for flying along with me today on this 20-minute hop. The next one we're going to be flying to a very interesting airport in Eastern Michigan. That is a huge overhaul facility for heavy jets. So I hope you'll catch us on that on our next episode of 20-minute hop. Really appreciate it, and we will see you on the next 20-minute flight. So long. Shut down, parking brake, holding the brakes, avionics off. MFD extinguished. PFD is in reversionary mode. Electrical equipment off. Nav light, panel light off. No air conditioner. Throttle 1000. Mixture cut off. Shutdown time is 9:43. Mags off. Alternator off. Battery off. Fuel quantity note. .42 on the left, correction, 17 on the left, 18.74 on the right. And we'll bring up WAMA here and save our flight. That's all there is to it. We'll catch you next time. So long.